Good morning. This is Mrs. Waterhouse, teacher from Lucille Nixon Elementary School. Today we're going to be reading a nonfiction book about elephants. And we'll be answering some questions today in our reading. And the question is, talk about how the writer organizes the information in the book. Why do you think he chose this particular organization? So books, especially nonfiction books, are organized in certain ways. And as I open up the book, you'll see right away in the organization, it starts with an introduction. The title of the book is All About African Elephants, and it's by Michael Christopher. All About African Elephants. Here is the introduction. This animal has a trunk and tusks. It has wrinkled skin and big ears. It has big feet with pads on the bottom. It lives in Africa. It is an African elephant. Notice the illustrations down below. Elephants are the biggest animals living on land. They can weigh as much as a truck. The biggest elephants live in Africa. Now, whenever you're reading a nonfiction text, you should always be looking at the illustrations as well as pictures and captions on the side. This is a diagram right here. And notice what the diagram says, where African elephants live. The diagrams are always trying to teach you something. So as you'll notice in the continent of Africa, this pink area is where the African elephants live. Here's another section. It's called an elephant's body. An elephant has a long trunk. The trunk is an elephant's nose and lip. But an elephant also uses its trunk like a hand. An elephant can pick up a tiny leaf or a big branch with its trunk. Sometimes an elephant uses its trunk to take a shower. And African elephants have tusks. Tusks are long teeth that don't stop growing. These elephants use their tusks to dig holes. They also use them to carry things. An elephant will even rest its trunk on its tusks. It looks like you can see that happening in this picture right here. He's resting his trunk on his big white tusks. Wow, look at those big, huge ears. African elephants have big ears. On hot days, African elephants flap their ears to cool off. Wow. An elephant's skin is wrinkled. It looks very tough, but it is not. Elephants can get bug bites and sunburns. An elephant protects its skin by covering it with mud or dirt. Elephants have big feet with pads on the bottom. The pads let the elephant walk quietly. Somehow I can't imagine a huge elephant walking quietly, but those pads look pretty thick. The next section is an elephant's life. Elephants eat about 300 pounds of food a day. They eat grass, plants, fruit, and parts of trees. Elephants reach high with their trunks to get the best leaves. Look at that picture there. Elephants cannot talk, but they do make sounds. Elephants roar, rumble, growl, and make a sound like a horn. They also make some very low sounds that people can't hear. Wow. They have a secret language, it seems like, if we can't hear it. Female elephants and babies live in, we're right here. Female elephants and babies live in family groups. An older female elephant leads the family. Elephants are very good mothers. They take good care of their own babies. They also watch out for the other babies in their group. And the final page here has facts. More elephant facts. Elephants can call to each other from miles away. Elephant babies suck their trunks. Elephants can live for 70 years or more. Look at that baby elephant. And then next you'll see a glossary right here. It says Africa, one of Earth's continents, protect, to keep safe, tough, strong or hard, tusks, long pointed teeth. Those were those big white things near its trunk. Wrinkled, covered with lines or folds. Now, going back to the original question, which was talk about how the writer organizes the information in the book. Why do you think he chose this organization? Well, the word organize means to put things together. And if we'll notice in the book, the way they put the different sections together is they have an introduction. The next section is the elephant's body. And then the final section, well, almost final section, is an elephant's life. And then now the final section was the last page, which was more facts. Okay, so in thinking about the story, the organization starting with an introduction, of course that makes sense. An introduction tells you a little bit about what you're going to learn about. The next section was an elephant's body. This section makes sense to put in next because the elephant's probably most unique or interesting feature is how big it is. And of course that amazing trunk. The last section, or second to last section, called an elephant's life. This seems like a good section to have last. It talks mostly about the elephant's behavior, such as the way it mothers and the way it takes care of family. And the very last section in our organization is more elephant facts. Well, this makes sense to go at the end because if we haven't read enough facts for ourselves, we can even look for more facts. So this is called organization, looking at titles for each section and thinking about ways the author thought about when they were organizing their story. I hope this was helpful for you today. With this lesson, there is no homework. Goodbye.